I'm here in Washington, D.C., attending the annual general meetings of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank, where over 190 countries are represented at the highest level by their finance ministers, central bank governors, economists, stakeholders, and those who run economies of those countries.
ස්වදේශී කොහොම ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අංක 1 ශාකසාර සබන්නාමය
Representing Sri Lanka at the highest level, we have Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Weerasinghe, who is attending these meetings to hold bilateral meetings, to talk to finance ministers and discuss Sri Lanka's future. What are you doing here with all the leaders? Why is this session so important to us in Sri Lanka?
In fact, these meetings in Washington, D.C. is an great opportunity for us to meet the finance ministers, governors of central banks, and also bilateral and multilateral basis other key representatives as well as the investors.
Sri Lanka just completed the fifth review, and there have been certain recommendations. While the IMF commended Sri Lanka for the gains or the reforms that Sri Lanka has made, there are also concerns about how we're going to manage corruption, SOE reforms, and also questions about revenue-making mechanisms for the long term. So what is your focus now?
Last week in Sri Lanka we reached started agreement for the completion of the fifth review. That was done. Then review will be completed, taken to the board in December, subject to certain kind of structural benchmarks. Important one is to submit the budget and get the budget passed for 2026. In addition, there are other important reforms like SOE reform, the cost recovery pricing, and have a simple pricing mechanism to determine the cost recovery, revenue-based fiscal consolidation. Also said there are other two pillars. Ensure the most poorest people who have been affected worse in the economic crisis. So their support to those people under the program is one important pillar for the people in Sri Lanka. Other one is addressing corruption vulnerabilities and governance issues. Fifth review is basically completion. It's more than halfway. We have to complete 8 reviews. We are hoping to do it in completion somewhere in the middle of 27.
මේ අතර ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදලේ සහ ලෝක බැංකුවේ 2025 වාර්ෂික රැස්වීම මාලාවට සමගාමීව පැවති ප්‍රවෘත්ති සාකච්ඡාවක් ඇමරිකාවේ වොෂින්ටන් නුවරදී ඊයේ පැවැත්වුණා.
I am Indivari from Sri Lanka, the Derana news channel. I have a question on frontier markets like Sri Lanka, how the IMF is assessing investor confidence in countries like Sri Lanka, high borrowing costs and limited market access. What do you perceive as the key financial stability risks in this phase to recovery, and also in terms of stability risks as these countries implement structural reforms?
Yeah, thanks so much for that question. And as you point out, Sri Lanka has been emerging from a debt restructuring and is on the path to growth and to restoring confidence. When we look at global markets relative to frontier economies, so those are low-income countries with market access, we do see that financial conditions are fairly easy, so there is liquidity. Countries can access markets, and indeed we have seen quite a bit of issuance this year that is in line with historical standards.
Sri Lanka's economic performance has improved, so it's good to see. On your questions on frontier in general, the softer dollar has lessened external pressure, but now is not the time to be complacent at the same time. So frontier economies need to continue to improve economic fundamentals. That includes both on the current account as well as fiscal buffers rebuilding.
Ada Derana YouTube නාලිකාව YouTube Ada Derana දැන්ම subscribe කරන්න.